Now remember how vocal Doug was accusing Martha Zoller of being pro-choice. Keep that in mind here. In September 2015, Doug made a big show, ostensibly going against House leadership when he refused to sign on to a continuing resolution that of course carried without his vote, according to Doug at the time. He refused to vote for the measure because it did not contain a specific prohibition against federal funding of Planned Parenthood. Now fast forward to December. Time to consider the year-end omnibus spending package to fund the government in 2016. The omnibus contained no specific prohibition against federal funding for Planned Parenthood. For Doug, the overriding concern, however, was not protecting the unborn, but rather to save the state of Georgia the money required to litigate a water rights case with the state of Alabama. Collins expressing, "The win for Georgia water rights was too important for me not to support this bill." And so under the spending authorities of the omnibus, nothing changed since September, yet faced with the political realities and the possibility of repercussions from the Speaker, Doug folded his tent, violating his major principle, voting to fund Title X with no specific prohibition against federal funding of Planned Parenthood. Doug claims to this day that the infamous Hyde Amendment is the necessary provision included in the omnibus that prevents federal funding of abortion. Nothing is further from the truth. Any federal dollar going to Planned Parenthood is $1 less needed to fund overall operations. That dollar can be used to finance abortion operations. The Hyde Amendment is simply a smokescreen. Oh, but never fear. After Doug voted to fully fund Title X with no restrictions on Planned Parenthood's use of federal funding, after receiving an earful from the 9th District voters, in January, Doug helped to sponsor a bill to unfund what he just voted to fund, which of course President Obama promptly vetoed. Of the bill, Doug said the legislation contains provisions that would defund Planned Parenthood for a year. And so while Doug contends that the omnibus bill did not fund Planned Parenthood, Doug subsequently sponsored a bill to defund Planned Parenthood he claimed was not funded. What the voters saw in January is a prime example of what many in the 9th District have recognized as Doug's patented dog and pony show.